I think I may have just seen the worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
We are in very serious trouble.
Look, Jeffrey Dahmer was eating the shit out of niggas' heads.
He's the one.
You know a movie's bad when you start to question whether it was intentional. Like, this movie was so bad that I started to consider that maybe the movie was meant to be bad. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it was satirical in some way, making fun of some kind of specific genre, or making fun of the film industry, or making fun of the idea of objectivity in art. I don't know, honestly. But whatever it was, either it went over my head or it was just done terribly. And as far as I can tell, it's the latter. Let me try to give you a synopsis. Okay, so you got three stories, right? You got one story about a woman who has eyeballs on her tits, where one of those tits cries and the tear falls onto a white spider and turns this white spider into a large man with 6 arms and 2 legs, who then goes around snapping women's necks. The second story is about a woman who goes around stealing women's faces. Just from a descriptive standpoint of just what the story is about, I would say this is the best one. It's the one that I think is the least ridiculous, or the one that's the easiest to believe. And that's saying a lot, because this one is really ridiculous too, but it's less ridiculous than the other two, I would think. And then there's the third one. The third one is about a woman who is obsessed with virgin blood. I don't even really know what else to say on that one. That one has no meat to it at all. Well, it has meat, but it doesn't have... I don't even want to get into the technical problems yet, because the technical problems are embarrassingly bad. These are the kind of problems that shouldn't have even existed in the first place, because someone gave this person money to make the film, or maybe this person funded themselves, but whatever the case is, you would think that they would have at least seen enough movies to understand that these technical issues are like glaring problems in the film. And the only thing that could possibly save these problems is if the movie is satirical and it is meant to be funny, right? And I don't think that that's the case. This movie is... Man, I don't even know what to say. I mean, this movie's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, jeez. The acting is pornographic. The acting is awful. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, it's like they just hired people off the street. They said, hey, they just went down the street and just picked random people and just said, hey, I want you to be in this movie. And they didn't ask anything else. This is why jobs ask for experience, because I don't think they did auditions for this movie. There's no way. There were so many moments in this film where I was just questioning. Like, I was just like, this has to be fake. They had to know that this is bad. There's no way that more than one person said that this was okay. There's no way. If you've ever wondered why I don't give a lot of really low scores, it's because of stuff like this. You know, if I give something like a Gemini Man a 1 out of 10, right? Or if I give like a lot of movies that people may consider bad a 1 out of 10, then there's no room for the true 1 out of 10s to get a 1 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 should be as rare as a 1 out of 10. They're on the same end of the spectrum, I feel. They're on the opposite ends, but in terms of rarity, they're the same, right? It should be as difficult to make a movie that's a 1 out of 10. I don't know about as difficult, But it should be as rare to see a movie that's a 1 out of 10 as it is to see a movie that's a 10 out of 10. That's kind of the way I think about it. And this movie is clearly a 1 out of 10. I mean, the acting is like I said, pornographic. It is atrocious. I don't buy a single thing anyone says. It's honestly comedic. It makes me laugh how bad this acting is. I don't even know what to say. It feels like this world in this film has like 25 people in it, right? The sets feel so fake and small, and everything's so isolated, and it doesn't feel real in any way. Like, and a lot of the effects are bad. I think the practical effects in some areas are decent. That's probably the best thing that I can say about this movie, is that there's some blood that isn't embarrassing. Like it doesn't like take me away too much, I guess. But man, I mean, when I think about this movie, the biggest issue I have, like past the acting, past the story, I think the biggest issue is the editing and the cinematography. I don't know if I have seen a movie edited this poorly in my life. This movie is about 90 minutes, but it feels about 2.5 hours to me. And if this movie were edited well, right, instead of 90 minutes, it would be about 60. I think like seriously, straight up, 100%. I really think this movie would be about 60 minutes if it were edited well. Maybe 65. Because when you, and I would show clips, but you kind of just have to see it in context. The editing is so bad because the shots just linger on. If you've seen enough movies, there's like an unspoken language of film, right? When two characters speak, there's a certain accepted amount of silence before it starts to get awkward. There's a certain amount of voyeurism that you can have in a conversation. We're always behind the camera, but there's certain moments where it feels like you're behind the camera, where you're watching another character, where you're kind of like you're spying on someone. This movie doesn't understand that at all, because there's so many shots where we just hold on characters, not in a tense way or in a suspenseful way. No, it's done in just like a very awkward, meandering sort of way, where we just kind of hold on a character for like 15 seconds as they just kind of do something weird. It's not uncomfortable in like a clever or interesting way. It's uncomfortable in a, this shot should have stopped really long ago. You know, it's not like a like we have to sit with like it's not trying to show some thematic idea. You know, it's just awkward. It's just long. Like it should have stopped like 25 seconds ago. You know, there's literally a scene in this movie where a woman is just kind of rubbing her face in the mirror for like legitimately like 2 minutes. Like literally like 2 minutes. And it occasionally will cut to like another woman's reaction, and that's it. And it's the kind of thing that you just have to see. And then when you watch it, you're just like, what is going on? And this is what I mean, like, about this unspoken language of film, right? Where you just accept a certain amount of this. Like, if this scene had gone on for like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, it'd have probably been decent, or at least not offensively bad. But it went on for like literally like 2 minutes. I mean, I didn't time it, but it went on for way too long. And it's just one example of the atrocious editing in this movie. I mean, like, you could literally probably edit the movie just by cutting out stuff. Just taking out stuff, and that's it. You don't even have to get any additional footage. You could just take the movie as is and just cut out a few things, and it would be probably a lot better. Man, I mean, there's so many things I could say about this movie. I mean, there's so many like snap zooms and like the camera zooms a lot, and it's very unnatural and awkward. The camera zooms when a character is just sitting, and like what's the point? What is going on? Like, oh my gosh, this movie's so bad. But again, I mean, it depends on what the movie is trying to accomplish. But here's the thing: even if the movie is satirical, it's still terrible. It's just slightly better because I think if it was trying to be funny in the way that it's funny, I think that it actually would have. I would commend it for that. But I don't think it is. You know, when it's holding on these shots, I think it's trying to do something that isn't. It's trying to create a reaction that's not actually being created. I can't commend it for that. Like, I can't praise it for doing something that was so bad. Like, it was, man, I mean, I at this point I'm rambling. This movie does essentially nothing well. There's a lot of exploitative nudity that's really awkward in this movie. You know, a lot of horror movies have that, but in this movie, it's like even worse. Like, it's annoying, like with the zooms and with the long shots. Like, it's 10 times as awkward. And you know, so there's that. The acting is, like I said, pornographic. It is atrocious. It's unbelievable. It's, oh my gosh, I don't even remember the music, but there was a couple of scenes with music that was just like, what? They would play the whole song, like a 3-minute song of just, I don't understand who said yes to this. Like, the music was bad, the characters were bad, the dialogue was bad. There were so many, oh my gosh, people are getting cut up, and I mean, oh my gosh, dude, I cannot tell you what the point of so many of this of so many of the scenes were. It's like, I don't know, right? Like, in a typical movie, things will build up to something. You know, like if you think of a movie like The Dark Knight, regardless of how you feel about that movie, right? Whether you think it's overrated, underrated, perfectly rated, whatever, you can't deny that the scene, that interrogation scene between the Batman and Joker, is at least doing a decent job of kind of escalating emotion. The way it's cut, the way it's edited, the way the dialogue is done, is escalating tension, escalating emotion. You can feel the makeup of the scene shifting as it goes along, right? It's changing in some way. But that's so poorly done in this movie. Nothing shifts in this movie. All the scenes feel the same throughout. It's just like things happen. Like, when there's a cut, it's just cut to something else, and there's no like gradual shift in emotion or even like sudden shifts in emotion. Everything, like, I can't feel anything at all from this movie, and it's wow, this movie's so bad. Like, this is a 1 out of 10. You can't just be giving out 1 out of 10s like it's nothing. Like, this is a 1 out of 10. This is a bad movie. This is what I mean when a lot of it, if you look on my letterbox, I don't give a lot of really low scores, because like I said, a 1 out of 10 is as rare to me as a 10 out of 10. And this is really a 1 out of, this is terrible. I cannot stress this enough. It is a bad movie, but it's fun to watch. And I think I've said pretty much everything I can say about this movie. There's nothing good to offer. I've rambled. This movie kind of made me mad, but it was fun. It was fun to watch because it was so bad. So for Verotika, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10.
That's not good. Okay, that's not good.
Thanks for watching.